Helen, hasn't it been fantastic to see just how many participants have really taken on board the changes that COVID-19 has made to racing in general?
Yeah, it's been fabulous. Look, it is a really difficult time, and I think when the early days of COVID commenced, there was great uncertainty as to whether we would have been able to continue to race or not. And there were lots of issues around, you know, a fullback position, et cetera, regional racing. But Victoria sort of held back a bit and watched what other states did. And once we got an opportunity to outsource the health model and have barrier control with health people taking temperatures and providing advice to people, we realised we had a model that could work, provided that the stringent protocols that we had in place for social distancing and for, you know, not having excess people at the track, you know, having skeleton levels of people at the track, all of those things went into play, and we've managed that really well. So I think from the point of view from where I sit, I was just really happy with the way that participants have really embraced the changes. I've been really pleased with the way the clubs have also assisted and we've worked together on that. And then also our own staff, particularly our race day staff who attend the tracks and run the race meeting. Those three groups really have come together as a fantastic team. And it's the combination of the good work of the three groups that we've been able to continue to race. And we've been able in Victoria to do what no one else has really been able to do, which is maintain our full race program with pretty much uninterrupted. We've lost a couple of events, but it's been pretty good. And we've been mindful that people earn a living from greyhound racing. It's really important to them, and they've got lots of outgoings and costs and got lots of dogs to look after. And so it's really important that we have tried to maintain the prize money, and the work of the participants clubs and our staff has been fabulous to keep that going.
Now, you touched on prize money and I suppose the changes to the racing calendar. Can you explain the need to why we needed to actually change the racing calendar during this time?
Yeah, well, I think that there are a couple of things that are going on that are different. But the first is that there's no real interstate travel. So dogs are not really moving in from Victoria around the rest of the country. So potentially there's a set of dogs that may have more limited opportunities than they would normally get. And so we felt that the 13 best 8 concept was a way of providing some changes to the race program that catered for the next 3 months. And it's just an interim change that we're making. It's not permanent. But we thought that that would provide opportunities for people where they may not be able to travel and where they may have great dogs sitting around and not getting enough opportunity. And secondly, we've had a need to enhance our distance racing, our endurance racing, and there's been a bit of a strong feedback from the participants over the last few months or so that we don't have enough and it's not frequent enough. And again, that's exacerbated by not being able to travel. So we've put on a distance race once a week at either the Sandown or Meadows, and we hope that that provides real opportunities. And obviously we'll be looking at the noms for those races to see that they are, you know, meeting a need. And thirdly, I think we were nervous that there wasn't enough going on, particularly the Meadows with no real feature races, so for 3 months. And so we figured that putting on these best 8 and making the changes that we proposed were better use of the Meadows and Sandown, which are, you know, sort of part of our core system. The metro racing has always been a bit of a core sort of program for us, an important part of the mix that we have. So those changes we put in place. In relation to prize money for feature races, we provide some money to the clubs, and the clubs top up their feature races from their own resources. But at the moment, the clubs have got really difficult, if not totally difficult, revenue making opportunities. And in that context, you know, with no events, no commercial opportunities, weddings and 21sts and 50ths and all those sorts of things that they would normally have. And also there's no casinos or gaming machine centres operating as well, that the revenue streams to the clubs has really been dried up. And in that context, we felt that the reduction to feature racing, given that that's the only reduction we've made in prize money, and out of the, I think feature racing represents around about 1.2, 1.1 million out of our 47 million. The rest of the whole program is completely preserved, and we're also intending to run all of our feature races. I know we had the Speed Star and Launching Pad was cancelled, but we're really hoping that we don't have any cancellations going forward, and so we should benefit from all of that.
Well, it sounds like we're still continuing it almost business as usual when it comes to our racing schedule and our calendar there. But can you talk me through the changes that GRV are having to make as a business during this?
Yeah, I think it's a really difficult time. It may not, with the racing program going as almost as normal in Victoria, but that isn't really what's going on. It's only one of the things that's going on. What we have got is we've got a Tabcorp with the retail network shut, and a large part of their business is based on their retail network. And so the revenue stream for us, which we're very, very dependent on from Tabcorp, has been very much undermined. Luckily for us, the corporate bookies have shown a bit of a ramp up because of the interest in racing. But there's a whole set of things over the next 6 months that we just find difficult to predict about. We're dealing in an environment where we're about to go through things that we've never experienced before. Like, there's no sports betting at the moment. What happens when it comes back? When will it come back? Issues around what will happen with the retail network when it opens. When will it open? What will it look like? All those issues are before us, and so we felt that the revenue stream that we have estimated for 1920 has already been made more difficult because of the fact that we've been short of dogs, and then we had canine gastro, and now we've got COVID environment. So that's already been a bit of a difficult year, and we're under where we would have hoped to have been in 1920. And then in 2021, the revenue estimate is just difficult for us to get right, no matter how hard we try and with the best brains that money can buy. So we've put in place a very substantial reduction in the costs within GRV, and we really have cut back lots of our projects. We've obviously been trying to build greyhound racing from the bottom up and get it to work better. As a business, it had been let go, and we were doing a major renovation of Fast Track and a range of other things that we've been trying to get put in place. We needed a new finance system, all things that businesses, every now and again have to deal with. But for us, we've had to put some of those things back and defer them, and we'll come back to them maybe during 21 sometime. But during 20, we're proposing to have an extremely conservative spend and reduce our expenses substantially. And so we will look at elements of the business, whether they're too big, making sure that our staffing are effectively deployed, making sure that we get value where we can, and also a number of our IT, and also the capital works. We spent a lot of money in safe racing, and safe racing is, we've got it to a certain point, but we're going to have to go slower on some of our safe racing program. Having said that, we've done a lot over the last 3 years in the safe racing program, and we feel really pleased with where we've got to.
It sounds like there's some really tough decisions to be made, and I suppose we've just got to make sure that everyone, has faith in what GRV are doing at the moment. But last question, Alan, why do you think it's so important for us all to stick together? I know you've got Zoe at home with you, and I've got my dogs here with me. Why is it so important that we all band together?
Well, I think obviously it's always hard when you're a promoter and regulator of the business, for us to go forward in a way that makes everyone happy, because sometimes unfortunately, I'd like to make everyone happy, but sometimes we don't. And we've had to make really tough calls as we tried to make the business better, and particularly in the integrity side and the animal welfare side. We've really worked hard on that. And you carry some people along in that, and other people find it difficult and hard, and change is always difficult for everyone. But at this point in time, I just think we've got so many difficult challenges in front of us that we're still to resolve. We really need to commit to each other, I think, at the moment, that GRV is committed to trying to maintain the racing program and to make sure that the revenue stream is up to, so that we can maintain all of the prize money and make it an attractive business for the participants. So I understand the pressures on participants and the fact that you've got lots of pressures, and so we need to do that, and therefore everything else needs to fit in to make sure that that can happen. But at the same time, we cannot undermine our integrity business or our animal welfare business, particularly in the rehoming of greyhounds, so no euthanasia. So that means that we just need to stick together and be positive going forward and not alarmist, because I think we've got good reasons to be positive, provided that we do the right things and we keep managing in a sensible manner.
Yeah, absolutely, Alan. Look, thank you so much for your time this morning. Yeah, thanks again.
And look, thank you to everyone who sees this video. There was a suggestion that we should be communicating a little bit more, and maybe a weekly or fortnightly update from myself would be useful. So I'm responding to what some participants had asked for. I hope you find it useful. Please provide feedback to Molly. And if there are questions or issues that you want me to address or to answer, I'm very happy to try to do that. But as I said in finishing, I just want to say thank you to all the participants for going through this tough time with us and really sticking together. I really appreciate it.